We sacrifice the talk and praise the eyes in awe, wonder and amazement. Notice every star floating in the arms of symmetry so ageless.
Coming to you from the Whitewater River corridor on the Foothills Trail in South Carolina. I just hiked past Lower Whitewater Falls, and I'm hiking through here, and it is one of the prettier areas I've seen. There are a bunch of tiny little bridges like this one right here that I'm crossing, although you definitely do have to be very, very cognizant of how sturdy the various structures are. I had a stair give way on me coming down a hill back there. I didn't fall, but it was scary, because it would have been a rather bad one. Either way, I'm making good time today. It is 3:15 in the afternoon, and if my math is correct, I've already covered something like 15 miles today, 16 miles, in about 7 or 8 hours of travel, which is not bad. I may try and push on further than I'd intended originally, because I'm feeling pretty froggy. I don't know, it really depends upon how rough the terrain up here gets, because the terrain just before the Whitewater River and just after the, Whitewater Falls and just after Whitewater Falls is pretty tough. You definitely have to be aware of where your feet are and what you're doing with them. Ah, stairs. But I'm going to climb up out of the Whitewater River corridor here. There's a campsite at the top that has a water source. I'm going to stop there, fill up the platypus, and make my decision as to how far I intend on going for the next little bit. Florida Rider, signing off. Florida Rider here, folks. Coming to you from the Foothills Trail, day 2. The end of the day today was not quite as successful as the beginning. I made it to the designated campsite that I wanted to. I made it to Bear Camp Creek. Gorgeous campsite, wonderful. Had to knock down a Widowmaker, but other than that, wonderful campsite. I like it. Anybody coming along this way, I recommend it. A couple of problems I ran into. The underwear that I bought recently, that were the Under Armour style, actually they were Under Armour brand, I've been wearing the style for a while, and the starter brand from Walmart, was chafing in several places on me, which was acutely uncomfortable over the last couple of miles. I washed off, I hit it with some antibiotic, I took an ibuprofen. I'm hoping that with that treatment and fresh undies, I brought a second pair, I'm hoping that tomorrow will be more successful in that region. Because tomorrow is my big day. I get to try to push out 20 miles. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but I'm going to try and make it. That would make it a 4-day trip instead of a 5-day. The other thing that occurred, it started raining on me and I set everything up, and that wasn't a problem. I got everything set up, hammock's dry, insulation's dry-ish because I'm still pretty damp. Problem was, I set up my DIY Fancy Feast stove and started, water for food this evening. It heated up nicely, just like it's supposed to. I walked back over to pick everything up, and I knocked the pot over. I've had better endings to my days. It's about 7:45 right now. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to get up at 4 in the morning and start hiking. We'll see how that goes. Florida Rider, signing off for now. Florida Rider here, folks. Coming to you from the Foothills Trail in South Carolina. I believe I may have actually crossed the North Carolina border, but I might be wrong about that. I'd have to actually haul the map out and look. It does go into North Carolina for a very short while. I am On trail on day 3 currently. Today is my big day. I gotta cover 20 plus miles. I'd have to double check the exact distance. I believe it's 21.7. Either way, today is my hard day. I'm also covering Heartbreak Ridge today, so I figured why the heck not? Let's kill my knees as much as possible. It is 7:47 in the morning. I've been hiking for about, an hour and 15 minutes now. I got on trail around 6:30 and night hiked for about an hour till it actually got light enough out that I could turn the headlamp off. It has been pretty nice so far. The first section of that was a little hairy to try and night hike with a headlamp. There's a bunch of rhododendron real close in, so it kept hitting my head, and the footing was less than stellar in spots. But right now I'm on this big wide forest road of a trail, so talking to the camera is definitely possible. My pace certainly picked up when I hit this. There is a section back there, however, of this particular wide bit of trail that is completely underwater. It's about 3 inches of water, it's about 100 yards long. My feet got wet. Fortunately, I'm wearing quick drying minimalist running shoes and quick drying running socks, polyester running socks. So my feet are already as dry as they're gonna get throughout this trip, assuming it stays as damp as it's been. It rained overnight last night, not particularly hard. It rained right when I got to camp, which I covered in my video last night. And it continued to sprinkle on throughout the night. Some of it was tree pea, some of it actually was sprinkling. But the skies have cleared up, the sun is out, and I have literally had a song on my lips for the last 3 miles. This has been a great trip so far. My knees are hurting a little bit today because I'm not used to going down that many stairs, and they're gonna hurt tomorrow, and they're gonna hurt the next day. That's okay. That's what God invented ibuprofen for. Anyway, my chafing issues have been taken care of with a change of undies and a good cleanup last night and a bit of Neosporin. So far, they aren't bothering me. We'll see whether or not that maintains throughout the day. That is definitely something that is uncomfortable for those of you who have not had it before. Either way, I'm having a great old time, and looks like there might be a trail junction up here, so I'm gonna get off. Florida Rider here, folks. Coming to you from the Toxaway River Bridge. Crossing over the Toxaway River, which feeds into Lake Jacassie. And it is absolutely gorgeous. It's a 173-foot long suspension bridge. I may be wrong on the exact number of feet there. I'll double check and put it at the bottom if I'm wrong. That is one of the nicer constructions I've had the pleasant experience to walk across. It's absolutely beautiful out here. If my knee wasn't hurting me, this would be a wonderful experience. This is Florida Rider, signing off. This is the beginning of Heartbreak Ridge. To quote a friend of mine, stairs. We'll see how my knee likes it. Coming to you from right next to a creek, and I'll put the name of it right at the bottom of this when I get done. I am significantly ahead of where I thought I would be today, considering how bad my knees are hurting. I am at 49.7 miles on the Foothills trail. My campsite is 59.5. That's 10 miles. At the rate that I'm going, that's going to take me about 7 hours, which is going to put me into camp around 9:30. I'm not going to make that. However, there is a campsite at 56.7, which is 7 miles, which would put me into camp right around 7:30 at the pace I've been doing. I think I'm going to try for it. That would make tomorrow a 20-mile day to make it out of the park, but only a 12.5-mile day to make the campsite just short of that. We'll see how I feel. Florida Rider, signing off. It's about 7:30 in the morning, and it is literally just light enough that I managed to take my headlamp off. I've been hiking for about an hour and 15 minutes. I wanted to get on trail by about 5:45, but I was running about a half hour late because I was cold, my knees hurt, and I wanted to give the Advil some time to work. Yesterday's hike into camp was less than pleasant, the last couple of hours of it. I was going through the Laurel Valley, and I slipped in some mud, and I fell and I snapped one of my poles. Fortunately, it didn't skewer me, but I've never managed to snap a pole before. I went down pretty hard. I didn't twist my knee any worse, I just hit my hip, but it was definitely one of those, really dude, moments. Still, think of it as a character building exercise. I'm hoping to make 17 miles and change and exit Table Rock State Park today. It really depends upon what kind of pace I can maintain. I don't know if I can exit. Ooh. Example. My knee does not want to bend on this sort of downhill. And this is not anywhere near as terrible as it's going to be once I get up into the mountains. But we'll see. It's an absolutely gorgeous morning. It got down to 56 last night. I was a little chilly when I woke up, mostly due to exhaustion rather than insulation failure. I wound up dry camping last night because I didn't realize the water source was all of 50 yards up the trail. I knew there was a water source nearby, but I didn't want to go hunting for it by headlamp when I'd already fallen once. Anyway, I'm recharged. I've had 2 meals already, and I'm gonna hike this out. I'll see you all up the trail. Florida Rider here, the old Cantrell home site. The reason that I'm not talking to you on a stick pick is because I managed to lose it somehow. Not sure where, but sometime today I managed to lose it. However, I highly recommend this area. This is a gorgeous little campsite. I'm gonna hike on. I'm almost home. Florida Rider here, standing next to the hiker register. Finished in 4 days. It's 5:14 right now. I beat my schedule by an hour and 45 minutes. Signing off.
Well, you play that tarantella, all the hounds will start to roar. The boys all go to hell, and then the Cubans hit the floor. They drive along the pipeline, they tango to their sore. They take apart their nightmares in